install R on your laptop. So if you just Google or download, you will get this, which I showed you in the last class. You just download this depending on the operating system. Sorry, depending on the operating system that you are interested in, you can just download and install. And preferably, I feel most of you are comfortable working with Windows. But what happens is Windows, it has its own limitations. And normally when we are working with R, we prefer Linux platform. I don't know how many of you are comfortable with Linux. If you work R with Linux, that would be the best. The combination that you have, because the features that you get with R working on Linux platform are more. It may not be the features that I should tell. It is not only the features, it is the advantages, the major advantages that you get, and the way how you can scale up your R program on a Linux platform is pretty good compared to Windows. But if you are too much comfortable and if you feel Linux is difficult, do not trouble yourself with too much. You keep working with the basics of R programming, and after you download, it is a typical install that you get. And if you give this R, I think two ways you have to work with R. One is the command prompt. I hope it is visible to you. This is at the command prompt that you get. The other is you have one called as RGUI. If you are working with RGUI, this is the one what you get. So here also, if you see, I can run all the commands that you are having. And again, it is your comfortable level which you can work with. And what we will do is we will start off working with GUI. Let us not work with the command level. But if you are working in Linux, this is what you get. Normally, you will be working at the command level, and most of the commands you should remember. So you need not by heart the commands. You can just what do you call browse through, get the commands as and when it is required, and keep copying it here. One more you have called as RStudio. Now, if you go for search, what you have to do is you have to give RStudio download. This is another one which you are having. This is RStudio you will get. Simply R if you give, I think you will get this for Windows or Linux platform, whatever you want. But if you really need RStudio, give RStudio completely, and this is what you get. And you have a licensed version, and also you have an open source license. So normally I think commercial we won't go, and if you can see here now R is slowly going towards commercial. Why? Because the acceptance level of R is more now from enterprises. But I hope you can download your desktop version here with RStudio. You can download your desktop version with RStudio. You can see one more RStudio server. And he will tell what are all the features that are available if you buy and if you don't buy. But RStudio server, it is accessed via web browser. And this, what you can do is if you just go for a download of RStudio server, you can see here, it is maximum he gives on Linux platform. There are something like other platforms also where you can start installing this on Windows, but not preferable only because Linux will give you the maximum. I hope you would have worked on Ubuntu, some people on CentOS and some people on OpenSUSE. Again, it is up to you what you want, and accordingly you can do. But typically if you start working with the RStudio server version, this would be the best. Maybe in due course of time, after we get some good experience with R, I will give a demonstration of how our studio server works on a web server, and typically you can do really wonderful projects with R. So what I suggest for you at the beginning is you have this download and also this download. So this is pretty big. I think this is around 170 MB or whatever it is. You can download this specific R Studio, install your R Studio. So if you start off with R Studio, starting, yeah, take some time, depends on your so you can see the console here is pretty good. The console over here in R Studio is pretty good, and I'm just talking about get WD. You can see I'm executing. I will explain what is that get WD that I'm trying to access every time. You can see this is the next version that you are having, the next advanced GUI that you are having from R. So what we are doing from our course is, initially we are not working with R Studio. Let us not work with R Studio. We will quit this session only because I want all of you to work more with R GUI, because if you start running your commands, you will learn bit more. Now, the next. Hope I am not fast. Any doubts if you are having, please ask me. And if you really require some information, you can stop me in between. Don't wait until unless I ask you for any doubts. I hope compared to Python, definitely I will go a bit slow with R. And from tomorrow, let it be hands-on. I want every one of you to come with laptop installed with R and R GUI. Okay. Any doubts you have till now?
No, sir.
Okay. So please install R, and let us start off with our history. Maybe for some time I'll give an introduction. What is this R? It is a dialect of the S language. So if you saw your C language, we had one thing called as a B language before C. Your B became C language. I don't know how many of you are aware. In a similar fashion, we had S language, and this became R. Now, coming to this R, this was developed by John Chambers and others at Bell Labs, and this was initiated in 1976. And to be frank, R is a pure statistical software. It is a pure statistical software. Maybe you would have heard something like SPSS. That is another powerful statistical software that is available, but it is bit commercial. But this R, what they did is they made it as a statistical programming language, but made it as open source. Since they made it as open source, it took over very well, and it started off appreciating from enterprises very well in due course of the time. Now, if you see, R is pretty good, and people are looking for programmers who are really good in R. So in 1988, this was rewritten in C. If you see the R language, the basic foundation or the complete programming that happened with the R programming is done in C language. Okay, and there are some good books that are available, which I will be sharing whenever you have free time. These books only I will be sharing, and you can start reading that. And in Bell Labs, this gave exclusive license to develop and sell the S language. And now, if you see, I don't want to go into the complete details, the historical notes. And if you see the philosophy, what exactly happened, they actually wanted to begin an interactive environment where they did not concisely think of themselves as programming. So to be frank, when Bell Labs started supporting this, they really wanted a programming language, they really didn't want a programming language to be developed. They wanted this interactive environment. So if you see this interactive environment, so I will be sharing this. I want all of you to visit this specific. Please take this, visit this, and put it in your what do you call bookmark. The complete history has been given. Why it's not working? Let us see. Fine. I think they would have taken off. Let us skip. Not required. Okay. So coming back to R, this was created in New Zealand by Ross Ihaka and Robert Gentleman, and their experience made to start working with R. And as I said, they made it public in the year 1993 and made it as a GNU license to make R a free software. So please understand there is a difference between making your software open and making your software free. And this is a free software. Okay, so maybe I just give it as an assignment to you for everyone. Please give me the difference between your open source softwares and free softwares. So this you can just work through. Please work through, and the R core group, and what you can do is there is a public mailing list that is created for R developers, and you can just become a member of this R developer because all new happenings and the new developments that are happening with R will always be shared there. And the current version, I think we have stopped here. The current version is 4.0. That's what we have. I have installed. If you see here, the version is 4.0. This is the latest version. Okay, and you can download the latest version. Don't go for older versions, because if you go for older versions, many of the new features that are available it will not support. And again, I think the comparison between S and R, it is similar to S, and semantics are superficially similar to yes. And if you see here, they are most of the time they are running on your PlayStations with their R, and we will see the features one by one later. This is what I was talking about when we say with free software you are granted, this is what the freedom to run the program for any purpose. That is freedom 0. You can run your code for any purpose. The freedom to study how the program works and adapt it to your needs, this is your freedom 1. Access to the source code is a precondition for this, which means to say, if you have developed a R program, and if I just want to use your free software that is available, you have to grant me access. Though we say it is free, there is a precondition that exists, and freedom to redistribute your copies so you can help your neighbor. So you can share or redistribute this code that you have developed, and the freedom to improve the program and release your improvements to the public so that the whole community benefits. Access to the source code is a precondition for this. Now, if you are really interested, this is a very good website which gives you the complete rules and regulations. What is for free software. So this again I will share in the chat. Please bookmark this. Please bookmark this free software and understand more about what are these free softwares are. And this you have the CRAN where you can download it from CRAN or everything else. Now, if you see, to be frank, what has happened is our triple IT or IIT, not triple IT, IITians, they have started contributing more towards this R, because a lot of packages that we speak about, they all are contributed more from India also. So if you see here, let me just demonstrate. So if you want to install some package in the GUI, you can go to packages and install packages. So it will say here, please select a CRAN mirror for use of this session. So one is cloud, and or you can go to any of these sites that are available to you. Okay. Now, if you say select this CRAN 0, by default I will select that cloud only, because I need not go to specific servers. It will give you all the packages that are available. So you can see how many packages are available. It is tons of packages that are available. So very, very difficult for you to, what do you call, remember. And every day this keeps changing. Each and every day they keep adding more and more packages. And you may ask what these packages are. The packages that are available here are something like, if you are working more towards machine learning, assume. If you are working more towards machine learning, by this time I really don't know if you have heard, we have this classification models or your clustering models. And assuming that I want to work with a priori algorithm, there is one called as a priori, and this is with what do you call, uh, alphabetical way. But the only problem that you are having is, after you select, if you want to go to any package that is starting with D, if you press D, it will not go. So it will not go. You have to scroll down. That is one major hit that you are having when you are working with this specific packages. Now, anytime you are working with these packages, one is you can use this GUI, and there are commands also associated with this. We will see those commands one by one. So I was just saying about your a priori algorithms, or your ID3 algorithms, or your k-means algorithm, which we will be studying a lot. And these are very much required right now. Maybe if you just go here, something like random forest, or if you want to integrate your R with MATLAB, you have this R.MATLAB. So these are the things which are available in your R programming language, which has made it so powerful right now. And I hope I said about this random forest, which you can see here. So whenever you want to work with machine learning and all, then typically we need all these packages. By default, these packages are not loaded to you. These packages are not loaded. There are something like base packages and recommended packages. Whatever just now I showed you, they are all recommended packages. If you really require, you can install it. But there are some basic, what do you call, base packages that are loaded, and you can see those here. We will see all this, may not be all, one by one, which are really important for us. Now, to be frank, in 2013, there were around 4,000 packages that were available. But now, if you see, it is more than 5,000. which means to say every day they go on adding this specific packages to R. And whenever, anytime you need to check which packages are available, just open here R GUI, go to install packages. And anytime you need, what do you call, update your packages, you can go for updating the package. So whenever we go for installing packages, what happens is, you just now saw, it will ask for the CRAN. Initially you saw that. By default, you can set the CRAN mirror. This is what you saw initially. So since I selected 0 first, what happened is, by default, that became my downloading server. Don't think too much what is this CRAN and all. So in a simple term to explain you, all these packages should be stored in one server, right? So that people will start downloading. But as the community of your R became too big, many people start contributing and many people started using this specific R. So what happened is, they started dividing. And now if you see, depending on your location, you can select whichever the servers, that's what it means, whichever the server that you want. So don't worry about this. It is something like, all these packages are distributed across and they have kept in so many servers. So by default, I am taking this CRAN mirror 0 because that is a good one, where I think most of the time I can download my packages. Either you can set or you can select the repositories. Now if you see here, the repositories itself, you have so many: BIOC, CRAN, RForge. RForge is by default from R only. But normally what happens as a programmer is, we will set CRAN as our repository, because if I take RForge, let us take RForge, this is my repository, then I have to select a different mirror. The mirror also might change. So it is now up to you. So what we will do is, we will set my package to CRAN by default, repository to CRAN, and my package to cloud. Okay. Now please check here. Every time I am trying to do these with all, there are some commands which are getting executed. Hope it is visible to you. There are some commands which are getting executed, correct? These are the one, either you can run directly. See, I need not go there. Let me just copy and press enter. You can see it comes. So either you can run the commands or you can do it here. So maybe since it is pretty easy now, let us start working with what do you call, features that are available to us. Now coming to our resources, you just now saw, these are all the resources. These are all some of the books which I will be sharing it to you later on. But if you see, every day new books are coming up. It is not that you have to refer only these textbooks, but these are pretty good books that are available to you. This I will be sharing so that you can start working. Okay. So this is a basic introduction of R, how we are starting. Okay. Now, what we have to do now? Now, if you see, whenever you install your R, by default, it goes to this specific location. It goes to C drive. Again, I'm giving these information from Windows perspective, program files. I think you can see this R and also R Studio. By default, it will install your R and R Studio here. So if you go into that directory, the version is given, it is 4.0, because you can have any number of installation of R depending on the versions. Okay, and here is the bin which tells which R to run. Typically, these commands that you are having, or sorry, these GUIs that you are having, it always runs the specific file. This is an executable file. You can see here it is an application. So if I directly need a command, I can simply click. You can see here it started off the command prompt. Okay, so these directory you should remember where exactly your R is stored. The second, what happens is once I start writing my R code, I should know where exactly my files are getting stored by default. There is a command called as getwd. So getwd is the command that you execute. This is the first command that you are trying to execute. Now, if you see, once I execute that specific command, it says C program files are R4.0 bin i386, which means to say there is an i386 here, correct? The directory. So if you see here, by default, all my working directory, getwd stands for get working directory. By default, your working directory is set to this. Any code that you write or any functions that you are writing, any R code that you are writing, by default, it will start storing here. So maybe I do not want to do this. I want to have a separate, what do you call, directory for R. What we can do is, maybe let us assume I will create something like a folder, my R programs. Okay, so this is what I want everyone. So for the complete R that we are doing, it is up to you. You can create in D drive wherever you want. It is up to you. Create a directory and let all the examples or the exercises that we are doing and all the downloads that you do, maybe books or the materials that I send, the PPTs that I send, keep everything in one repository and let us make my R programs as our working directory. Now the question comes, how will I do that? Now if you see here, you can just go here to files. There is a change directory. So in the desktop, let it be my R programs and I will say that. Now if I again run getwd, I hope it is visible. I don't know because of the font size. If there is, just come online and let me know. Because of the color changes, I hope it is pretty good. You can see by default, it was C program files are i386. Now I have changed it to my R programs. Now, whatever I do, whatever I tend to execute here, everything will be stored in my R program. This is the first thing that you have to do first. Set the working directory properly where you want. And as it has come to C users, CSAHOD desktop, my R programs. Okay. Now, let me close this. Don't save. If you save, it will take, otherwise it will not. Let me open your RGUI again. I will directly do it from the command prompt. Let me go to desktop. Sorry, C drive, program files, R 4.0, go to bin. But if you go to bin, what happens is this R will give you the shell, that is the command line. But I want GUI. If you go to i386, there is one called as RGUI. So if you double click this, you will get back. Now you can see there is a getwd. Correct? Now again, if you restart this again, you can see that by default it has gone to that specific directory only. There is a command called as read dot csv, my data dot csv, assume. Correct? It immediately says read CSV is the command to read your comma separated values. CSV stands for comma separated values. If I try to read that specific CSV file, you can see that there is no such directory exists. This is what is the error that you get. So what I will do is let me create a CSV, maybe, yeah, let me take this. I don't know what is this site. Fine. Let us just take this. Let me save this. Save as. But I had to save it as a CSV file. Let me take MS-DOS, my data. But I will be storing this in my desktop, my R programs as a CSV. Let me save this. Okay. Now, if you see your CSV file, let me go to my desktop, my R programs, you can see my data. But you see here, what I have done is I have stored it in my R programs. My data is available in my R programs. So to do that, if you see here, by default, it is going to search this my data CSV in the directory C program files R. Why? Because I haven't set my directory. Now what I will do is I will set my directory, change directory to desktop, my R programs. Now, if I give my get WD again here, you can see it is set to my R programs. If you use the upper arrow, the commands will repeat. Can you see the output? It just read the CSV file, whichever I had, and it displayed to me. Correct? It just read and displayed the content to me. There are around 500 and 556 records. Everything gets displayed. It read and it gave me the output. Okay. So this is how you read the content from a CSV file. Apart from that, this I have done. It is similar. You have all this 4 into 5. It just gives 20. All these addition, subtraction, multiplication, everything you can do with R directly at the command prompt. Now to work on this,
Sir,
Hedi.
every time we close the R program and restart it, we have to change the repository.
So initially keep doing it. I will tell you how it can be saved.
Okay.
Okay. Now what we will do is, if I exit, save workspace image, right? I have saved it. You had to, first time if you saw, I didn't save, correct? Now let me go to C drive, program files, sorry, R, bin 386, RGY. Correct? Again, though you save, saving your workspace is different and saving your content is different. So whatever just now I did with the workspace, all your CSV files and all are saved, because later on we will see what exactly happens is, sorry, I will be writing functions. I'll be writing my R programs. When I do all this, the entire, what do you call, the workspace needs to be stored. So that is what is your workspace. But I just now showed you without saving and with saving also. Don't get confused with that, because by default, it always goes to the working directory I386. Now, as she rightly asked, is it that I have to do it every time? For the time being, I do not want to show you this only because I want you to learn. The more you keep doing it, you will know that these are the options that are available. So first 1 or 2 days you keep doing it. Later on, I will tell you how it can be done by default. As she rightly asked, why is that I should do it every time? Can I make my R programs as a default directory? Let once this GUI starts, that should be my workspace. Correct? That we will see maybe tomorrow or day after. Today and tomorrow, I want all of you to work with this only. Okay? It is possible. The answer is it is possible. You can set that. We will see that in the coming class. Now, let me go to my R. So the history is over. Let me show you the some basics. So this is how you are giving the inputs. Please look into this. How we are giving. There is no is equal to sign. This is bit difficult for you. So you have to give like this. Okay. So there is no is equal to. You can't give x is equal to 1. I think now they are supporting. Sorry. X is equal to 10. Yeah, both are working. Is equal to is also there. Less than symbol and hyphen is also there. Now it is up to you what you can do with this specific, what do you call, uh, input. So since we are used with is equal to, you can start using with is equal to, and giving a comment is with hash. You have to give a hash character which indicates that everything that you are writing is a comment. Okay. So evaluations we did. This is for explicit printing, correct? Or this you can give directly as X. So both will do the job for you. So print text also will do, 10 also will do. Maybe for some time, please work it like this only, no problem. You can just give x plus y. You can see x I gave as a 10, y I gave as 20. Once I say x plus y, it directly gives me 30. So either you can do that or you can give print x plus y. All are one and the same. Please work out all these options that are available with the, what do you call, R program. And if you want a range, you can print something like this, x 1 to 20. Let me copy this. You can directly copy and run in the prompt. You can see it just prints from 1 to 20. It is a range. 1 is to 20 is the range, and the previous values will be overwritten. Okay. So sorry. One second. Using files. Yeah. This is what I hope it is visible. You can use R as a calculator, which I just now showed you. just reduce. It is not going. Let me make a 172. Yeah. Okay. You can give 6 plus 98 directly. It gives multiplication. This is division and this is subtraction. Okay. Similarly, you have this range which I just now showed you. 1 is to 40. Directly you can give this. Yeah. And R will not care about the white space. Both are one and the same. You can give 3 into 5 with a space you can give, and you can give any number of spaces. It will not make any difference for R. And order of precedence, I want all of you to look into. What you can do is please give order of precedence in R in the Google. So you will get this. That's it. Download and keep it. Yeah, this one. Please download and keep this operator precedence in R. What do we mean by this? I think all of you are aware of this. Directly, if I give 12 into 56 plus 34, okay, what exactly happened is the multiplication happens first. So if you see, let me go to Cal C, 12 into 56, which is 672, that gets added with 34. I hope you can see the calculator also. So what exactly happened is, if you see the precedence of operation, multiplication is having the highest precedence. You can see here. Multiplication, and later on comes the addition. So because of that, what happens is when you give an expression of this sort, multiplication happens first, then addition, which gives me 706. If you want to change, now you can give 56 plus 34, because parenthesis will take over, that multiplied with 12, which gives me 1080. It is the same. You may feel it is a repetition. Fine. But what happens is, why I am emphasizing this is, the order of precedence would differ from programming language to language. So my suggestion is, please download the order of precedence, keep it as a ready reckoner. Okay. Now we have two things here. One is your exponentiation, 3 power 8. But we have one more, the remainder little hat. We can also calculate the remainder or modular using percent. And here, if you see here, 12% percent 3 gives me 0, 10% percent 3 gives me 1, which gives me the remainder. The remainder is given, but only thing what you have to do is, this percent symbol you have to give it twice. There are some scientific notations using your E, 1 E2 gives you 100. This E is nothing but is a scientific notation that you are having. So this is how you will get an output. So try out all this. I'll just give you an exercise for you.